lotus name. Rup Shiksha, Sri Sanatan Shiksha. So this Rupa and Sanatan, they're like the pillars of our sampradaya. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's main followers. Tvakta Turnam Shesha Mandalapati Srenum Sadatu Chavat Bhutva Dime Ganesiko Kuruneo Gopina Kanta Srito Gopi Bhavra Samrahabde Lahali Kalola Magno Maho Vande Rupa Sanatano Rigurigo Srijiva Gopalago. They gave up so much opulence, Rupa and Sanatan especially. Rupa and Sanatan were the Prime Minister and the Treasurer of Hussain Shah. They gave up everything. For what? Kopin and Kantasrito. They took Kopin and Kanta. Kanta means, if you take many, many old dhotis, old blankets, old saris, and you sew it together, that quilt is called a Kanta. So the Goswamis took Kopin, means like sannyas, and Kanta. Also Kamandal, these three Ks are very dear to the Vaishnavas. Kopin, Kanta, Kamandal. Day and night, how hard austerities they did for us. Night, that time, no electricity, Haridas. They would burn leaves, and when just that time when the light would come, night time, they would write. Something appears in the heart of Rupa Goswami. Morning time, maybe he forgets. So he would burn leaves, and by the light of the leaves they would write. So hard austerities they did for us, our good fortune. Vrindavaniyam rasakelevatam kalena luktam nijashakti matko sanchara rupa vyatano punosi prabhu vido pragiva loka shustam. Just like in the beginning of the creation, then Prabhu Narayan empowered the heart of Lord Brahma, and he composed, he spoke all the Vedic truths were revealed in his heart. In the same way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu empowered the heart of Sri Rupa Goswami with conclusions which were not even given to Lord Brahma. So Vrindavaniyam Rasakeli Vatam Kalena Luktam Nijashakti Matam. It's like a 50-acre temple room here. So, in due course of time, the pastimes of Radha Krishna became hidden, covered, lost. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again empowered the heart of Sri Rupa Goswami to describe all this. Vrindavaniyam Rasakeli Vatam. Therefore, all glories to Sri Rupa Goswami and Sri Sanatana Goswami. Originally, they were living in Bangladesh. Their birthplace is there still. They were very intelligent. Of course, they are Mahaprabhu's eternal associates. But Hussain Shah was very cruel. One day, Hussain Shah, he took the architect who was constructing one very big mosque. And at the end of the construction, the architect said, Hussain Shah said, "Very sweet, very nicely you have built." Then the architect, he had to learn the art of Vachovegam the hard way. He said, No, I can build better. What? If you can build a better one, then maybe for another king you will build a more famous mosque. So Hussain Shah pushed him off the roof of the mosque to his death. And you cannot make anything. So when he was dying, then the architect said, "At least name the mosque after me." So Hussain Shah pushed the architect off the roof. And then he turned to the second in charge. Another what? But who's going to ask? Another smoothie? Another blanket? What do you want? But he was too afraid to ask. Then with the second in command, he ran away. And he was just moving like a madman. Another, what does he want? I don't know what he needs. Then he met Sanatana Goswami. Sanatana Goswami said, Oh, obviously it means when he saw the Muslim was in so much distress, my dear brother, how can I help? The architect told the history. That means bring another architectural team. So Sanatana Goswami arranged new architects, new builders, stonemasons, and sent. So when the second in charge came with a whole new team to build something new, then Hussain Shah said, you are not intelligent enough to understand what I meant. Who told you to do this? I met one Brahmin, 2 brothers. So Hussain Shah requested those 2 brothers, you come in my service. Rup Sanatan said no. Then Hussain Shah said, if you do not, I will kill every Brahmin in Bengal. So to protect the Brahmanas, Rupa and Sanatan became engaged in the service of the Muslim government. That means to almost become a Muslim. Even their names were changed. Sakir Malik and Dabir Khas. So those 2 brothers had good fortune. They met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when Mahaprabhu came to Ramkeli. On his way to Vrindavan. We discussed that last night. And Mahaprabhu blessed the 2 brothers that they would give up all material connection and come to his full-time seva. So Rupa Goswami, he escaped very easily. He took his wealth, half he gave to family members, a quarter he gave to the Vaishnavas. He gave to the Vaishnavas. Why would he give half to the family members? Half he gave to the Vaishnavas, a quarter he gave to the family members, and a quarter he kept for emergency. At that time he was not fully renounced. So he kept his 1/4 of the wealth with one respectable Brahmana for an emergency. Later Sanatana Goswami would use that money to bribe his way out of jail. Then Rupa Goswami left everything. And he came to Prayag where he met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And we will hear what instructions Mahaprabhu gave him. And how Sanatana Goswami escaped from jail, we will hear after we hear Rup Shiksha. Therefore Prayag is located at the confluence, the conjunction of the Yamuna, the Ganga and the Saraswati. Now Saraswati is not present, we cannot see. But she is flowing there. Sometimes she manifests on full moon or something like that. Just like Krishna's mercy is always there, sometimes it manifests. A special, looks like a goddess. So, at Prayag, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, thousands of persons were following him. And Rupa came with his younger brother, Anupam. Anupam is the father of Sri Jiva Goswami. Anupam was a devotee of Lord Ram, but by the influence of Rupa and Sanatana especially, and by the influence of Mahaprabhu, his mind was changed. They tried to change his mind to devotion towards Krishna. But they could not change his mind, because everyone has one sthai bhav, one permanent relationship. So both brothers, Rupa Goswami and Sri Vallabh, also known as Anupam, the 2 brothers saw the Lord and they did dandavats from a distance. They were feeling too much humble to come close to the Lord. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said, it is not possible to describe Krishna's mercy to you because you have given up this well of stool called material life. With Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a very learned Brahmin. His name was Vallabhacharya. Have you heard of Pushti Sampradaya? He is in charge. So their bhajan is almost exactly like the Gaudiya Vaishnava's bhajan, Raganuga bhajan. Why? Because he took Diksha from Gadadhar Pandit. So Vallabhacharya was a great learned person. So when Mahaprabhu called the 2 brothers, come, I want to embrace, and out of humility they were saying, we are untouchable. We are adrisya and asparsha. We should not be seen, we should not be touched. That out of humility they were. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, no, that is not correct. And he quoted a verse from Krishna, Na mad bhaktas chato vede mad bhaktas swapachat priya Tasmai deham tataukareyam sapujo asmiyaham. Krishna says, one may be born in a very high Brahminical family, but he is not a devotee, he is not dear to me. But one may be born in a family of swapach. Swapach means those persons who eat raw dog. Isn't it in China one time? Last time actually, I was saying. Swapach means those who eat dogs. There was like a silence in the room. Just as a matter of interest, how many have eaten dog? But cooked dog. But even such persons can be purified by the association of Vaishnavas by chanting the name. Anyway, eating dog is a lot better than eating cow. Shastra gives permission for eating dog, but Shastra never gives permission for eating cow. So, we are even worse situation. But no problem. Tasmai graham tatodayam. They are so powerful, they are so pure, those who chant the holy name. Whatever they give, you should accept. So puja so asmiyaham. Krishna said, they are as worshipful as I am. Therefore, to judge a Vaishnava by their birth, this is very wrong, this is one offense. Thakur Bhaktivinoda told a nice history. The smarter Brahmanas, the seminal Brahmanas, when they see the Vaishnavas also wearing the Brahman thread, they burn in envy. Therefore, so much they're against Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the caste Goswamis in Vrindavan. So we should not expect any kindness from them. So, they think, oh, they were born like that, how they could become Brahmins? Impossible. Then Bhaktivinoda Thakur Saraswati Thakur told a nice history. There was one small boy, his name was Panchak. Hey, where is Pankaj, by the way? There was one boy, we'll call him Pankaj, but his name was like, not quite Pankaj, something like that. Pajang, something like that, I cannot remember. Funny little Bengali name. So of course, when he was small, he used to run around the village with no clothes. Right, like everyone does. So Pankaj was a very good boy, he went to school, he studied, he went to high school, he went to college, he went to law school, finally he became a high court judge. So all the villagers, they were burning in envy. How could Pankaj become a high court judge? So even though they went to the court and saw that Pankaj had become a high court judge, they said, oh, how impossible, naked Pankaj could become a high court judge. Understand? Because they were all thinking when he was young, he was running around with no clothes. Just like our mother, when she was young, she was also running around with no clothes. What? That means when she's old, she should also run around with no clothes. So Saraswati Thakur said, we should not look at the beginning. Haribol, Ramachandra. Sit on a pillow, you'll get cold. So, what we were doing when we were young, we had no ignorance. Why you should think of that? You should look at the end result. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave those arguments, Krishna's own arguments. Also, Prahlad Maharaj says, Vipradvi Sadguna Charanada Vindam. One may be a Brahmin equipped with all 12 Brahminical qualities, but he is not a devotee. He cannot purify himself, or to speak of his family members. But my devotee, even though born in a low dog-eating family, he can purify the whole world. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spoke those verses. That time, Sri Rupa Goswami offered the pranam to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Namo Maha Vadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauritvishe Namaha. Where's Subal? Can someone go and get Subal? Come on. I offer my pranams to that most magnificent incarnation, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is Krishna, therefore he can bestow the wealth of Krishna to the three worlds. Therefore Mahaprabhu, he sat Rupa and Anupam down. What news you have of Sanatana? Sanatana Goswami, because he was the Prime Minister of Hussain Shah. Hussain Shah was going to invade Orissa. He wanted to take Sanatana Goswami with him. Therefore Sanatana Goswami avoided government service by pretending he was sick. But he was not sick. He would call 20 or 30 learned Brahmanas and they would be discussing Srimad Bhagavatam day and night. So when Hussain Shah made a surprise inspection to Sanatana Goswami's house, and Sanatana Goswami was not sick, he was discussing Bhagavatam. He said to Sanatana, come with me to Orissa. Sanatana Goswami said, no, you are going to Utkal to cause pain to the Supreme Personality, I cannot come. Hussain Shah had so much affection for Sanatana Goswami. Therefore, he put Sanatana Goswami in jail. And Sanatana Goswami, he bribed his way out of jail using the money kept by Rupa Goswami. So he said to the jailer, you are a greatly pious man, one who helps another person in distress gets the mercy of Allah. And just to help grease the wheels of your infinite compassion, I'm going to give you 10,000 gold coins. So the goal who was greedy, just to help the feelings of mercy in his heart, here's a few $1 million. Sanatana Goswami said, don't worry, you tell everyone I went to Mecca. No, you don't worry, I am going to Mecca, you'll never see me again in India, and if anyone asks what happened, just say I committed suicide by jumping in the Ganga with my chains on. So Sanatana Goswami escaped from jail. So Mahaprabhu said, Sanatana has already been released from jail, he will very soon meet me. One Brahmana invited Mahaprabhu for dinner and lunch, and Balabhadra Bhattacharya also kept the remnants of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for his two brothers. So Vallabhacharya was a high-class Brahmin, a greatly learned scholar. Also he was Vaishnava. Therefore, he also invited Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to his house at Prayag. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was crossing the river, he began dancing in ecstasy. And the whole boat was about to tip upside down. So many pastimes with Vallabhacharya and Mahaprabhu. So, in fact, it's very interesting because after the Caitanya-Caritamrta, so much Vallabhacharya gets hammered by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Vallabhacharya had written a commentary in the Bhagavatam. And again he asks, I've written a commentary which is superior even to the commentary of Sridhar Swami. And the Vallabhacharya is an incarnation of Janak Maharaj, Sita's father. So Mahaprabhu said, one who does not accept the Swami, he's a prostitute. Swami means husband. A woman who does not follow her husband, then she's considered prostitute. In the same way, Mahaprabhu made some joke with him. Vallabhacharya said, I've written a commentary on the holy name. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I don't know any commentary of the holy name. Holy name is the holy name is Krishna, the holy name is Yasodananda, there's no commentary. So everything Vallabhacharya presented, Mahaprabhu rejected. This is a great mercy. And in fact, in one place it says, Vallabhacharya appeared like a crow amongst the assembly of swans. The swans were the swan-like Paramahamsa devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So externally it seems like Vallabhacharya is being disrespected in Caitanya-Caritamrta by the Lord. But this is impossible. Because being disrespected by the Lord, this is a great mercy. Like Advaitacharya disrespected. This is disrespect. This means too much mercy. So when Prabhupada Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj went to the Western countries and translated Caitanya-Caritamrta and printed millions and millions of volumes and spread them around the world, then the woman who sponsored his ticket to America on the Jaladuta, she was from the Vallabh Sampradaya. So she was very much distressed. I sent you to the West to preach and you're just preaching against my Sampradaya. She wrote a whole letter and Prabhupada nicely answered, word argument by argument. So Vallabhacharya is a pure Vaishnava, we offer pranams to his feet. So Vallabhacharya was also there. So Vallabhacharya went to embrace the two brothers. They said, don't touch us, we have become like Muslims. We have become antarjat, that means outside the Vedic system of Varna and Ashram. Therefore Rupa Goswami said, I am most sinful, please do not touch me. Vallabhacharya was astonished at their humility. Also he noticed the two brothers were constantly chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was testing them. Oh Vallabhacharya, don't touch them. They belong to a low caste. You are a Brahmin and a follower of the Vedic principles. You perform many Vedic sacrifices. You belong to an aristocratic family. You should not touch them. Therefore Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was examining Vallabhacharya. Then Vallabhacharya said, that is impossible. These two brothers are always chanting the holy name. How can they be untouchable? They are most exalted. Aho vata swapachaya gariyam ya jivagri vatate namatubhyam teputapastyuva ajasmata brahmanyansha nam ganandi taye kapila desya. Aho vata swapachaya gariyam. That person who always chants the name of Krishna. Ya jivagri vatate namatubhyam. That means the name of Krishna dances on the tip of their tongue. That must mean in their previous births, even though this birth they may be born as dog eaters, in their previous births, they have taken bath in all the holy places, they have visited all the holy tirthas, they have performed all Vedic sacrifices, they have performed everything. Therefore, there's one who chants the holy name constantly. Hey, where's JDK? Okay. Haridas, do you want to go and get him? Thank you. Therefore, one who chants, one who's worshipped the deity perfectly for 100 births, that person can chant the holy name constantly. That's Srila Chiraka Maharaj. Therefore, Gurudev, he would not discourage people from getting deities in the homes. But whenever people would ask him, he'd always say, better if you chant more. But still, we are not, without proper deity worship, very hard to chant the holy name. So deity worship is there to encourage our chanting. For example, Mangalati. Pankaj, did you go this morning? Oh, shame on you.
I was there.
No, you weren't. No, you weren't. Shame on him not coming to Mangalati. So, despite my big lecture, I also didn't come this morning. That's why I was testing you. So, the point being, this deity worship is to help our chanting of the holy name. Isn't it? Mangaladi is at 5 o'clock, then you have to wake up, take bath, come to Mangaladi. In Mangaladi you can chant the holy name, then you sit and chant. This is to make us regulated to help our spiritual life. Of course, the high class devotee, no need of any deity worship. 24 hours they just chant the holy name. Paramahamsa. We are not Paramahamsa, therefore deity worship is recommended. So, Mahaprabhu quoted a verse. He was very clear and happy to hear Vallabhacharya's first faith in the Vaishnavas. Like Guruji, when Prabhupada first came back from America, he came with Kirtanananda Swami. That time Kirtanananda had taken Diksha and he was cooking. No one would eat his cooking. Why? Oh, they think before he was doing this, doing that. But only Guru Maharaj would sit and take his prasad. No, he has taken Diksha in the Sampradaya. Therefore, Gurudev would eat. How much faith Gurudev had. So, Mahaprabhu said a person who has the person who has the pure characteristics of a Brahmin due to devotional service. Devotional service is like a blazing fire which burns to ashes all the sinful activities of past lives. That person is certainly saved from the consequences of a sinful act such as taking birth in a lower family. Although such a devotee may be born in a family of dog eaters, he is recognized by learned scholars. Therefore, we never judge anyone by their birth. What they were, they were. We should look what they have become. Therefore, Bhagavad Bhakti Hinasya Jati Shastram Japastapa Aprana Seva Dehasa Lokanami Varanjana Hari Bhakti Vilas. Just like ornaments on a dead body give no happiness to anyone, nor to the dead body, nor to anyone who sees the dead body. In the same way, Bhagavad Bhakti Hinasya, one who is devoid of bhajan or devotion to the Supreme Lord, his chanting of mantras, his high birth, his knowledge of scriptures, and his austerities are likewise useless. So everyone was very happy to see Vallabhacharya's firm faith in devotion and firm faith in Vaishnavas. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed Rupa Goswami. There was one devotee, Raghupati Upadhyaya, who was also there. Mahaprabhu asked him 4 questions. What is the best form of the Lord? Mahaprabhu asked. And Raghupati Upadhyaya said, Shamameva Paramam Rupam. Which is the best form of Krishna? What is the best form of Bhagavan? Sham Sundar, that is the best form. Of all places to reside, which is the best place? Puri, Madhupuri Varam. Madhupuri, Mathura Mandal, Vrindavan, that is the best place to stay. Of the many ages of Krishna, baby age, childhood and youth, which is the best form, which is the best age to meditate on Krishna? Balya, Paugando, Kishore. Then Raghupati Upadhyaya said, Dhyana Kishore Katyam. Meditation of Krishna as a youth, that is the best meditation. And of all the ways to serve Krishna, which is the best? The best way to serve Him is in the conjugal mood. Adyeva Parorasa. Adiras, conjugal ras is the best. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard those 4 answers, he became ecstatic and he made one verse and chanted it again and again. Shamameva Paramam Purupam Puri Madhupuri Varam Dhyana Kishore Vasad Kishoraka Dhyanam Adi Eva Rasaparam. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing and saying those verses. Due to the huge crowd in Prayag, Mahaprabhu went to an isolated place that is called Dasamed Vigat. And there he instructed Rupa Goswami in the science of devotion. Afterwards, Mahaprabhu said, the devotion is like an unlimited ocean of nectar. O Rupa, I am giving you 1 drop. If Rupa Goswami condensed those instructions of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu into the book, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur made a comment, took the essence of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and made another book that is Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Hindu. Still awake, Tulsi? Hang in there. So, who is Rupa Goswami? Priya Sarupe, Dayata Sarupe, Prema Sarupe, Sahajana Rupe, Nirjana Rupe, Prabhavaka Rupe, Tadana Rupe, Swamila Sarupe. Sri Kavi Kandapur has written. Priya Sarupe, he is very dear to Sarup Damodar. In this verse you can think Rupa Goswami, all this applies to Rupa Goswami, and another way all this applies to Rupa Manjari. Now, 2 Sarups Rupa Goswami has. One is the servant of Mahaprabhu as Rupa Goswami, and the other one is the servant of Radha Krishna, especially Radhika, that is Rupa Manjari. Priya Sarupe. He is very dear to Sarup Damodar. Dayata Sarupe. Radharani is Daitya, because Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daitya. One who surrendered everything to Krishna, her name is Daitya. So Dayata Sarupe.